Welcome to my 12 Days of Christmas. I'm April Davis with April Davis Creations, and I'm independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Spring Hill, Kansas. If you can hear my fan in the background, I'm sorry. I am freezing down here today. We've had such nice weather in the 50s here in the Kansas City area, and today it's like in the low 30s. I think it was like 32, and I know 32 is not that cold, but my body just hasn't acclimated to the cold weather, so we're playing around with the vents down here, and I've got my heater going, and I'm just trying to warm up. My fingers are cold. But today is day 7 of our 12 Days of Christmas. First of all, I can't believe it's day 7, but secondly, I can't believe it's New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve, tomorrow is a new year. Christmas came and went with a blink. And now we're looking at a new year tomorrow. I'm really actually quite excited. There's something about the new year that just is always invigorating, if you will. But let's get to it. I'm going to share with you what day 7 brings. Pull your package out if you haven't opened it yet. And we're going to open it up and see what we're going to do today. If I can get it open. All right. All right, day 7 is the Stampin' Up! Masking paper. Do you guys use masking paper? Have you used masking paper before? I'm going to show you a few things. We're going to make one card today, but I want to show you a few things what you can do with this masking paper. So just to kind of share with you, the masking paper is kind of like a Post-it note tape, and it has a backing to it. I'm looking to see if I can find my area that I can pull, but basically what you do is you would either maybe punch something, or you would die cut it, or you can just use it straight, but this is the sticky side and this is the part that sticks to your cardstock. So I can put my cardstock down here, but because it's masking paper, it pulls right up. But the nice part about it is it stays taut, so you can do a lot of different things. So I'm going to show you initially, these were some techniques that I was teaching in my September class when we did our Fusion Fest. And basically I had strips of masking paper, and I took my cardstock and I placed it down on my cardstock on each side. And then once I had it down and it was secured, and the other thing I wanted to share with you, it made it easy because I made sure that it was longer than what the paper was, and I could align it with my grid on my glass mat. So I would put this one down, I would put this one down, and then I would bring in a brush, dip it in the ink, and blend over. Then I would pull that up and start again, and eventually I would have stripes. And then once I had the stripes, then we were actually utilizing the, what are these flowers called? I can't even think of them, zinnias. And so we were using zinnias for everything that we did. But you can see I did 2 different color combos. And just fun. The color combos with the inks and then stamping in the black. But you can also blend other ways. So basically what I did on this one, this was more of a sunset kind of look. And so I took a punch, and this is bigger than the one that I used, but I took a punch and I just punched out of my masking paper, peeled it off, placed it on my paper, made sure it was nice and secure, and then again took my blending brushes and just started blending around. And because I didn't want a stark white, because it was white cardstock, I took a different color and blended in the sun a little bit. And then again, because this was for a zinnia class, technique class, I stamped with the zinnias over the front of it. Such a pretty card. So I thought I'd do the same thing. And I brought in this punch again, punched this out, and did ink blending. And this time the ink blending that I did, I used a number of different colors. I used Blackberry Bliss, Gorgeous Grape, Fresh Freesia. Started out with the lighter, then started blending in the darker colors, and then after that was all done, I removed the mask, took a little bit of fresh freesia over, I'm gonna call it my moon, and that way it wasn't stark white. And then I was able to utilize the new Terrific Toadstools stamp set that's in the new mini catalog that comes out on January the 7th. But I used the Terrific Toadstools in black. So you can see I used the mound, I used the stem, and I used the dome, I guess, and created this. Now, one of the other things that I did before I actually did my stamping is we have an ink called white. It's just a white pigment ink. And what I did is I tapped my block into it. I took my water painter and I made it liquidy. And then I used my bone folder and I started just tapping it around. So I got some speckles, and you can see the speckles. Now the purple was really dark and it was also a little bit wet still, I think. And so the white absorbed into it. But what a fun technique just to add some interest. Then when I was done with that, I stamped my toadstool and I used one of the sentiments in here to say you're magical. And last but not least, what I did is I used, and you guys can probably figure it out. Give me just a second. I'm going to pull it out. Let me take this card and can you see the sparkle? I'm hooked. I was hooked before, but now I'm really hooked since I've been doing this on the 12 days of Christmas. Excuse me. Also sporting a cold, so I may cough periodically. But I used my Wink of Stella and gave it some sparkle with the Wink of Stella. And this was done with the masking technique. I just masked around that moon. Now, what else can you do? I have another set that is in the new mini catalog, and this is called a shadowed shape. And you'll see what it looks like here in just a second. But I decided that I was going to go ahead and try this. So I went ahead and I stamped it initially on some of my masking paper. Then I took it and I stamped it on my card. You see, I don't have my masking paper anymore, I don't think. Oh, I do. Whoops, of course I dropped it. Give me just a second. I stamped it on my card and I wanted to put the sketched plaid around it. I was just playing around. Let's see what kind of border or background we can put around it. So after I had stamped that, then I put my mask over the top of it, took this large plaid stamp, inked it up, and stamped over the top of it. Then when I pulled it up, I had my shadowed shape in the middle of it with the design around it. Now, you might think that I've stamped it on a separate piece of cardstock. I haven't. This is all one piece. And then I went ahead and mounted it on a piece of Fresh Freesia cardstock and mounted it to my card base. And before I actually put it down, you can see that I used my linen thread and some of my, let me see, I've got these here. Where did they come from? My purple adhesive backed sequins that are free in the celebration folder. So I was having fun playing. I stamped just a note in the same ink that I was utilizing. So I used the same ink and same color all the way through this card, and then just popped up the sentiment on with some dimensionals. So I was having fun playing, but I still wanted to do another card because I wanted to show you what else we could do with not dimensionals, but the masking paper. So I have fallen in love with this suite with the Storybook Friends and the Storybook Garden Patch. I'm actually going to be utilizing the Storybook Friends today, but they have another paper that goes with it that is called Timeless Plaid, and I have to show you this paper. Great for masculine cards, but just a pretty plaid with geometric shapes on the back. Kind of reminds me of those plaid shirts that, you know, our dads used to wear, and my son-in-law still wears a lot of plaid shirts. In fact, he gets plaid shirts for my 2-year-old grandson, and he looks so cute in them. But look at these plaids. Loved them. So I wanted to incorporate this into my card, but I wanted to do it and show you what you can do with masking paper. Look how many pieces of paper you get. This is craziness, right? Anyway, okay, moving on. Let me move this out of the way. And I'm gonna bring in a piece of cardstock and we're gonna get started. Now the stamps that we're utilizing are photopolymer stamps. So I need to bring in my stamp pad. So let me find that so that I get a good cushion. And I've not created this card. I thought it through, so I was playing around, but I haven't actually created it yet. So I've got all the pieces here that we're gonna create it with. But the first thing we need to do is stamp. So I'm gonna bring in the Memento Black. And really what I wanna do, I have this dirt mound. This is a dirt mound. Let me see, you might be able to see it a little bit better on the stamp set. It's a dirt mound. I wanna put this bunny in front of the dirt mound. So in order to do that, so it looks like the dirt mound is behind the bunny, I'm gonna take the bunny first and I'm gonna stamp the bunny. So let's go ahead and do that. Make sure I get a good, because then I'm gonna have to color all these in. So I wanna make sure I get a good stamp. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna stamp the bunny, oh, probably maybe right here. I wanna make sure I get a good transfer of ink. Got it. All right, let's clean off this stamp and we are gonna move to our next step. But we have a bunny. Okay, so we're gonna clean this off. And now what we're gonna do is we are going to put the dirt mound behind the bunny. So I'm gonna pull this out again. And basically what I've done is I've already created the mats. So I took the dies, there are dies in here. And this particular one happens to be the bunny that we're using. If I turn this over, if I was gonna cut it out, that's what we would use. I used this to cut a piece of the masking paper. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to pull the masking paper off and I'm gonna lay it on top of my bunny. Make sure my bunny's all covered up. Okay, my bunny's all covered up. I can see a little bit of the bunny through the paper. But now what I wanna do is I wanna do my dirt mound. He's on a mission for carrots. So I'm gonna go ahead and ink this up. Make sure I get good connection. And we're gonna turn this over. And I'm gonna decide where I want this dirt mound to go. But I think I'm gonna layer it right about here. So I'm gonna stamp right over the top of him. I think I might have moved it just a little bit. But I'm gonna lay it right over the top of him. There we go. So now what I can do is I can take my take your pick and I'm gonna pull the mask off. And the dirt mound is now behind the bunny. You see that? He's in front of the dirt mound. All right, so now what I wanna do is I wanna start completing this picture. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean this off. And I wanna add some background. I wanna add a blue sky, but I don't want to take my brush because I don't want, and not have this masked because I don't want my bunny to be blue. I don't want my dirt mound to be blue. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put my bunny back on. Get it on there as best you can. It sticks again and again. This one folded over, I'm gonna pull it back out. All right, we've got that. And then I also went in and stamped a dirt mound and I fussy cut around it. We don't have a die for this, but I didn't want to get blue on my dirt mound either. So I stamped it on masking paper and I fussy cut. So now what I'm gonna do is take this one off. Oops. And I'm gonna lay it over the dirt mound here. See if I can get it lined up fairly easily. I need a little bit more over here. My stamp did move just a little bit, but I think we're good. right, so let me get this lined up where I'm comfortable. I'm not going to be doing the ground anyway, but I do need to make sure that I get it turned so that it lays appropriately. So we'll try this again. All right, I'm not coming down here to the grass anyway, but I think I've got it pretty much. We'll have a little bit of a space, but now I can start blending my ink for my sky. So I'm going to do it on my glass mat. I have a balmy blue for my sky. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna ink this up, tap this off, and we're just gonna start at the top and we're just gonna very gently add some sky. I don't need a ton of color. I'm not going for the deep purple that I had with the mushroom. I just want a soft sky. Okay, it's a little bit more at the top. And you just keep layering on your color until you're comfortable with what you have. I'm going to bring this down just a little bit. You see the color that's starting to build? All right, I'm going to call that good. So I'm going to move this off to the side, close this up. Now what we can do is we can remove the masks. So I'm going to remove this mask. And I'm going to remove this mask. And now we've got some sky behind our bunny. So let's finish this up. All right, so our bunny is going to be in, let's see, I'm going to do him in gray granite. So I'm going to use a light gray granite. He's going to be a gray bunny. And we'll just go ahead and get him colored in. I'm going to add just a few accents. I'm not going to go crazy, but I do want to add just a few accents. We got to remember his paws. He's got a paw up here. And then I'm going to make the bottom of his foot a little bit darker. And I'm actually going to make, I know the inside of bunny's ears tend to be pink. His are not. His are a little bit darker. Okay, and then we'll just kind of accent that a little bit. All right, just a little bit of accent. Okay, now he is actually wearing a, let's see, a dark balmy blue jacket. It'll kind of match the sky. And I'm gonna go ahead and get his jacket colored in. And then after we get him taken care of, we will work on the garden. Let's get our rabbit all done. And I think, let's see, he's got some patches and some pockets. Let's do, I'm just gonna bring in some, what color do I want to use? I think I'm gonna use the dark gray granite. I didn't bring over a ton of color. All right, so we're gonna do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm gonna use crumb cake, light crumb cake for my dirt. I'm just gonna go light. I'm not gonna go crazy here. Go around my, and I'm not gonna even, it's not gonna even look even. It's just kind of, dirt's not ever even, right? So I'm just gonna go ahead and get some color down. Okay, going crazy like that. Now, one of the things that I wanted to share with you is what I could have done, and I'm okay with this, but what I could have done is cut in closer or brought my mats in closer to the lines, and in doing that, then I would have less of a white border. but I'm really not worried about it. This is the first time I've made this card, and I'm just excited that I have a sky and I have a bunny and he's on a hill. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna color in the leaves of the carrots. And I am calling these carrots, although the one he's holding actually looks more like a turnip, but what it really is it's just a squatty carrot. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that done. And then I do have some pumpkin for pumpkin pie for the carrots. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna color this carrot, the squatty little carrot in. We've got a carrot here. We've got a carrot here. A little bit of a carrot here. And I think that's about it on our carrots. So let me move this out of the way. And I think for the most part, I'm done with the coloring in of the rabbit. So I'm going to bring in some Misty Moonlight. And the reason that I'm bringing in this Misty Moonlight is I'm going to incorporate this plaid in. So we're going to go ahead and bring in the Misty Moonlight. See if I can get this to open up for me. And we'll get this layer down. Oh, you know what I was going to do and I didn't do it. We will get this done. I'm just doing it out of order. Don't do this. I'm I'm going to show you how to do it, but don't do it. Do as I coach you to do it, teach you to do it, not as I'm doing it, because I just missed a spot. Really what I wanted to do is I wanted to stamp before I put my layer down. And normally that's how you should do it. This isn't going to hurt things, but it's not really what I wanted to do. So let me find my stamp that's got my sentiment on it. And basically it just has hello friend. I think this would look so cool as hello friend right here. So I'm going to find my black ink. And I'm doing it after, let me see, I'm going to bring this back in. It's kind of like he's waving hello with his carrot. So I'm going to do hello friend right here. Okay, love that. Now what we'll do is we'll take our card base. Let me clean this off real quick. Otherwise I'll probably put my fingers in it. Take my card base, fold it in half. Let's go ahead and burnish it. I can find my bone folder. Oh, it's right here. Here it is. Okay. And then I'm going to take this layer and I'm going to adhere it. Oh, that's got some ink on it. Probably because, oh, did you guys catch that? All right, lesson learned. Remember when I was doing my blending? Couldn't even see it, but there is ink on my glass mat. And I forgot. Couldn't see it and I forgot. But my cardstock didn't forget. And it decided that it was going to absorb up some of that ink. So I've got some ink on the back side. Not worried about it. I'm just going to flip it over and we'll create the card this way. All right, so let's go ahead and get this piece down. Almost out of glue in this bottle. Okay, let's get this down. Get it centered the way that I want it. Love this plaid. And then I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to put it up on dimensionals. What a fun card. And so cute. All right, let's keep going. It's coming together pretty much like I envisioned it. I am able to look at what I've done and make some notes for next time and how I might make some changes. Excuse me. I'm going to actually take a drink here in a sec. This cold is getting to me. I'm trying to ignore it, but it's really not allowing me to do that. It just keeps on keeping on. All right, so I'm gonna put a little bit of glue on these just because I want to be able to slide this around. So when I go to center this, if I need to make some adjustments, if I've got some glue on my dimensionals, then I can make those adjustments. So let me turn this, bring this down, center it side to side, top to bottom. I'm gonna lay it down and see how I did. Maybe up just a tad this way. I did really, really good. Okay, cute card. I'm gonna zoom in here in just a second. But I do wanna add a little bit of bling to it. Now, if this was for a guy, maybe you don't wanna add bling. But I love these purple adhesive back sequins, and especially the white ones, because I can use the white ones and they go with pretty much anything. So I'm gonna do another one here and one here. Hold on, picking it up. We'll get it right there. And then I'm gonna take this last one and I'm gonna put it maybe right here. All right, let me zoom in a little bit for you if I can do that. Does that work? I'm gonna do this. Maybe I can zoom in this way. Yes. All right, check it out. Isn't he cute? And we used quite a few masking masks on this. We masked the bunny. We did that so that we could put the mound in. And then I wanted to put some background to it, and I didn't want to make my mound and my bunny blue, so I masked them up again, and I was able to make a blue background before I called at the end. All right, I'm gonna bring these other ones back in just to kind of remind you what you can do. What I would say with the masking is just play. Just play. That's what I was doing. Here's this card. This is all one piece. I just masked this and then stamped my plaid. This one, how fun was this? Inking, oh, look at the sparkle. So fun. I masked the moon, blended my ink around it, put my little splotches on here, stamped my mushroom and mound and You Are Magical, and there you go. Such a pretty card. And then, of course, I'm just going to bring these back out because these were ones that I had done during a technique class. But really, stripes are so fun. So if you've got a stamp that you love and you want to make the center of attention, but you want to kind of add a little bit of interest in it, think about doing something like this. You don't have to go horizontal. You could go vertical. You could do one stripe right down the middle. I've seen that before. You could do two on the edge and one in the middle and do your stamping in the middle. There's so many things that you can do. So this is day 7. Have fun utilizing your masking paper, and I will see you tomorrow for day 8. Bye, everyone.